of data. Right now, we're using data to drive innovation, shape the vision of our future, change our campus and our communities, and create a more equitable world around us. You see, it's never been just about a single number. It's about strength in numbers. Because when you bring them together, they have the power to change your trajectory, the power to bring an end to equity gaps in higher education. If you want to climb fast, climb alone. If you want to climb higher, climb together.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king of Cougar Nation, the pride of our pack, let's give it up for President Dr. Lamont Repoland.
I don't know about you, but I'm so damn embarrassed right about now. Thanks a lot, Mike. That's the way to kick off the mid-year convocation, by embarrassing me right now in front of my peers. But no, seriously, thank you, Mike, and welcome everyone to Kean University's inaugural mid-year convocation. Since its inception, Kean has been committed to serving a diverse student body. Our current mission statement reads, Kean is steadfast in its dedication to maintaining a student-centered educational environment in which diversity can flourish, and an atmosphere in which mutual respect characterizes relations among the members of our multicultural society. The university seeks to combine excellence with equity in providing opportunities for all students. However, we recognize there are disparities in access, opportunities, and outcomes for students we serve. We must address those equity gaps. For example, marginalized students from historically underrepresented groups are less likely to graduate on time, less likely to have access to internships and undergraduate research opportunities, and more likely to experience financial challenges. Together, we can work to change all of that. As I look around this room, I see dedicated professionals who work tirelessly to lift up our students and give all students the opportunity to grow, learn, develop, and experience the benefits of attaining a college degree. Only together, I know we can tackle equity gaps in higher education for the benefit of our students and our university. This mid-year convocation and gallery walk will begin a cultural mind shift that will encompass a reset of our minds, fuel our motivation, and impact our practice to transform this university into our definition of elite, one that is inclusive, expansive, forward-thinking, and forward-reaching. Before I go any further, let me take a moment to thank the organizers of this event. Thank you to Senior Vice President Mike Salvatore, Vice President Carlos Rodriguez, and Assistant Vice President Neva Lozado, all from the Division of Administration and Sadie, for bringing us together for this very important event. And thank you to the many, many officers through our campus who work with them and contributed to our overall understanding of where we are and the work we need to embark on together to reach our goal of closing equity gaps in higher education right here at Kean University. In my opening day address last August, I declared, Kean is on the rise. Our continuous improvement model, ACE, grounds our practice through reflection and continuous improvement. We are here today to check in on our progress. We're here today because there is strength in our numbers. It's easy to say we've made progress in closing equity gaps at Kean, but we must measure our progress to ensure that we are here today for a transparent, data-driven, clear-eyed, and objective look at where things actually stand on this important issue, to learn where things are going well, and where we need to improve. We're here today to challenge ourselves and each other to dig deeper, reach higher, and recommit to working together to give all of our students the resources they need to succeed at Kean University. As I opened this academic year, I said, equity isn't a buzzword for us. You see, Dr. King reminded us when he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Therefore, inequities in our universities are a threat to a fair and just education for all within our university. and we have a moral obligation to take action. As we embark on our Moonshot for Equity initiative with EAB, our partnership will help us connect our initiatives to ensure that we are working together towards a common goal, and that's equity for all students. With Moonshot, we will look at training and professional development, pathways for transfer students and adult learners, technology, student care, fostering a sense of belonging, and much more. See, there is much work to be done by all of us here, and also by our students. As they take ownership of their success and their future, we will support them every step of the way. Do you want some good news? I want some good news. We're not starting from zero. We are well on our way across campus towards eliminating the disparities that exist amongst our students. Our goal is to build on what we have already started. We've already changed many practices and have layered in additional support programs and resources. Our path forward will look much like what we've done for the past 3 years, but with greater focus, more intensity, and even more collaboration. Throughout the process, we will be guided by our training, our knowledge and skills, and more importantly, our hearts. And of course, Mike Salvatore, the data, right? We're using cutting-edge digital tools and real-time data to make meaningful progress towards equity and increase student, staff, and faculty success. We created the new Division of Strategic Analytics and Data Illumination, or SADE, to lead us on this front. As you leave this auditorium, you will see for yourselves that there is strength in our collective numbers. Outside in the Myron Student Center atrium, we will have a data gallery walk where our colleges and departments across the university, 25 in all, will share some of the progress they've made in closing equity gaps. You'll see how their numbers are all interconnected to our shared goal. I encourage you to ask questions, talk with your colleagues about what makes them proud in this effort and how they got their results. In August, I challenged everyone in the community, the campus community, to embrace our growth mindset, to re-examine our culture and our practices and reimagine what is possible. And I'll admit, and we're doing that. As professionals, we have dedicated ourselves to higher education, and I can think of no greater purpose. As I stand here today talking about eliminating equity gaps, I want to be crystal clear. We aren't weaponizing education as a way to harm communities. In this day and age where diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts can be seen as harmful and have a negative connotation, it is imperative that we understand the importance of the work we are doing. Increasing equity focuses on the collective good and only enhances outcomes for all. I thank you for joining me and my leadership team at this mid-year convocation. I'm excited about starting this new tradition with all of you here at Kane. I now invite our Provost, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, David Birdsell, to share his number. David?
Thank you, Dr. Repillette, and good afternoon, everyone. My number is 22,400. It's a big number, and it's a general number. It's a number that I need your help with. That number reflects the number of people who, since 2005, have enrolled as first-time freshmen at Kane University, but left Kane without the degree they came to seek. Now, there are many, many reasons why people leave a university. Some of them are beyond the university's control. Sometimes they suffer family crises. Sometimes they move away. Sometimes they get a job that's the job of their dreams. And those cases are cases we may not be able to do much about. But we do know that many of the people who leave because they had difficulty navigating a curriculum that they should have been able to navigate, or couldn't deal with a laundry list of prerequisites for courses that essentially kept them in school longer to the point that their funding ran out. Some have been unable to access all of the financial aid that they are qualified to receive. Some broke the link or couldn't find the link to begin with between the major programs in which they were involved and the careers that they aspired to. And some others just felt isolated and gave up and left. Those people need our help. Those students need our help. It's a big number. It's a number that's about 6 times larger than the number of people who fit into NJPAC for our graduation ceremony. It's larger than the number of people who come to see the Jersey Devils play at the Prudential Center, and we can do better. If we come together as a community and think about all of the services that touch students, from how we put our classes together, to how we deliver them, to how we support them when they're trying to think about what the next stage in their academic journey is, then our successors having this conversation 17 years from now won't see a number that's too large to fit into the Prudential Center, but a number that could fit very comfortably in someone's living room, and that's the Kane we want to see. Thanks, I seek your help. And now I'd like to bring to the podium my colleague, Senior Vice President for Student Success, Kate Gallagher.
Good afternoon, everyone. 90.9% may look familiar to you. That is our retention rate from fall 22 to spring 23, and that is a number worth celebrating. Everybody in this room played a role in getting us to that milestone, from advisors helping students register for classes, to working across offices and divisions to chip away at our ENR list, enrolled but not yet registered, to working to take students off the forfeiture list or to reinstate them if they were actually dropped from the rolls. The team effort has been incredible, and we have a lot to celebrate. 249 is the number of students who were registered for classes this semester and later withdrew. 249 students who wanted to be here, who went as far as to register for classes, but they're not here today. Why not? Do we know their stories? Did we exhaust every avenue and do absolutely everything possible to remove the barriers to them continuing their education? So my team knows I want there to not be an ENR list. I want it down to 0. Shorter and shorter each semester till it doesn't exist. But I'm a realist, and I know that's not possible. As Dr. Birdsall discussed, there are lots of reasons why students sometimes have to take time off from their studies. I know because I did when I was an undergraduate. But what we can do is we can know the stories behind those students, right? And we can have a plan to re-engage them. Dr. Repollet, in his opening day address, and again here today, talked about a new definition of elite, our own definition, our Kane definition of elite, a definition that's inclusive, not the definition, the narrow definition embraced by Ivy League schools and the like, but our very own definition here at Kane. He asked us to imagine a world where part of what makes us elite is the way that we uplift one another. In our version of elite, we know the story between all 249 of those students because we are deadly serious about every student persisting to graduation. And now I am thrilled to introduce my colleague, the Senior Vice President of Entrepreneurial Education Initiatives, Dr. Sancha Gray.
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 New Jersey high school students are prepared for college. According to the 2020 Department of Education data, that represents the students that are prepared. But as the adage goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. And our president, Dr. Lamont Repollet, in his vision for the creation of entrepreneurial education initiatives, seeks to address those equity gaps by removing the barriers and obstacles for college preparedness and success to student achievement. Access is key. So what's 2 out of 5 have to do with it all? Well, when we think about our first generation college program as one of the units within our entrepreneurial education initiatives division, we understand that is a critical area. And in keeping with a rising tide, lifting all boats, if we are really intentional about making sure that we're creating those opportunities for all students to thrive and to learn, even those that are minoritized and marginalized, then we have to celebrate and look at the successes there. 100% is our number in EEI. What does that represent? It represents 100% of our students in our Upward Bound program that have been accepted, and have applied to Kane University. And so just as a rising tide lifts all boats, a rising star can lift all celestial vessels, meaning our students, our faculty, our staff, bringing them closer to achieving their own goals and potential. It is in that spirit now that I invite my colleague, Senior Vice President Dr. Joseph Youngblood, to share his number with you.
Good afternoon. This slide and this formula is for all of the qualitative researchers who are in the audience today. Qualitative researchers have a knack for understanding that numbers do matter, but so do the contexts in which data are collected, shared, interpreted, analyzed, and ultimately applied. And with that is the framework to talk about a lot of the work that is now being prioritized in the Transformational Learning and External Affairs Division here at Kane to address a lot of the issues that the President talked about, particularly related to the DEI initiatives that are now a part of the Kane identity. The 1.9 million that you see there speaks to the number of New Jerseyans who have high school diplomas, but who do not have a college degree. If we disaggregate those data, we would identify that 40% of those people are truly representative of the same ethnic minoritized communities that are part of the Moonshot Initiative that we'll hear our Deputy Chief of Staff talk about at the end of all of our cabinet presentations. What this represents for the state of New Jersey was an imperative in 2017 to create a statewide initiative to educate and to provide academic opportunities towards degree completion for 65% of the 1.9 million. That's a huge undertaking. And our response here at Kane and Transformational Learning has been to work very closely with Kane Online, with our colleagues, Vice President Jay O'Callahan, to build the infrastructure and the architecture here at Kane to make Kane a much more adult-friendly serving institution so that we could be the go-to institution to provide that hope and promise for the completion of a degree. And we're really excited about that. Our first step in erecting everything that we're doing with degree completion at Kane has been the creation of a new assessment center that will exist specifically to address prior learning needs and to assess those. And we're happy to announce that Dr. Makul Achira will be the Assistant Vice President who is overseeing those initiatives. So what that represents for us is a critical opportunity to address the 22,500 that my colleague Dr. Birdsell talked about, and to create, again, the infrastructure and the architecture to make degree completion a dream for those Cougars first and foremost, but for the other 1.9 million here in the state of New Jersey. The second point here, New Jersey arguably is the most affluent state in the union, yet we are 47th out of 50 states in terms of the dismal maternal child health death rates. That number, again, disproportionately impacts women of color. If you are a black woman in our capital city here in Trenton, you are 7 times more likely to die as a result of childbirth. Those types of data and information and numbers are the driving force behind the work of the Watson Institute for Urban Policy and Research here at Kane University. Our ability to use policy and to leverage the network of communities and to have community voice at the policy making and shaping table is a critical part of the identity of the Watson Institute, and we're excited now in this phase of the Watson Institute's evolution at Kane to include our faculty, students, and staff in this policy-making and researching apparatus that we now have at Kane. Thank you for your time, and it is my extreme pleasure to introduce my colleague, the Senior Vice President for Planning and Special Counsel to the President, Felice Vasquez.
Thank you, Joe. So we all know that the majority of our budget at Kane University comes from student tuition. And that is why it's so important that we remain steadfast in always working to improve our ability to do more with less by investing in activities that produce maximum outcomes for our students. One such way is to focus on connecting our students with high-impact practices, such as the experiential learning opportunities offered in career services and international studies. NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, found that students' career and cultural competencies were significantly influenced by internships and study abroad experiences. Just to cite a few results from their survey, it reveals that 80% of students' global and intercultural fluency was influenced by their study abroad experiences. Likewise, 80% of students report an impact on their professionalism and work ethic from an internship experience. NACE also found that 7 out of 10 internships result in a job offer. While in 2018, another impact study reports over 90% of employers are looking for the transferable skills enhanced by study abroad. Moreover, in our most recent assessments here at Kane, students participating in internships, study abroad, or travel learns have a persistence rate of more than 90%. That's high impact. But NACE also found that first-generation college students are underrepresented compared to their non-first-gen peers with respect to both internships and international study experiences. And despite our freshman survey reporting 4 out of the top 10 student interests being career-related, we still have too many students passing through our doors without participating in these experiential learning opportunities. So today, I ask everyone to join our efforts to ensure that every Kane student participates in internships, study abroad, and travel learns. Now it's my pleasure to invite my colleague, Deputy Chief of Staff Atunu Balagan, to the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. 22,400, 90.9%, 1.9 million, 2 and 5, and over 90%. These are all data points that my colleagues have shared here with you today. Some of them may be successes, some of them are shortcomings, but they're all opportunities for us to improve the outcomes for our students. Through our partnership with EAB, Moonshot for Equity is our way to eliminate equity gaps in higher education right here at Kane University. It's not just another initiative. I know everybody has initiative fatigue. Moonshot for Equity is the initiative that will coalesce all of the efforts that we're doing across campus, from our advising task force, who has done an insurmountable amount of work to review our advising policies, to our task forces who are looking at our core curriculum and incorporating experiential learning opportunities into our freshman and sophomore curriculum. To our Wellness at Work initiative, we matter too. We can't pour from an empty cup. All of these initiatives fit under our Moonshot umbrella. With Moonshot for Equity, we're looking at best practices. We're looking at change leadership. We're looking at equity-mindedness in every single thing that we do. It's not enough to talk equity. We have to make sure it's embedded in our policies, in our practices, and in our procedures. So please, if you haven't already, look at our Moonshot website. Join us. I know many of you have taken surveys, have seen some things around campus, but it's never too late to be a part of the conversation. Email us at moonshot@kane.edu. And now it's my pleasure to introduce SVP Michael Salvatore to close this out.
This year's theme is Strength in Numbers. Now, you may not know this, but we borrowed this theme from the National Basketball Association, but more specifically from the Golden State Warriors, who were the world champions last year. Any fans out there? One? Nobody. Okay, we are in New Jersey. Go Nets. So we stole this because we thought, how curious. Strength in numbers, what does this mean? At face value, when you look at it immediately, you start thinking about, well, it was a team that had 3 All-Stars out of 5. That must be the strength in numbers. But it was, when you look deeper, you start realizing it was the people who knew their role behind them to support those All-Stars. It was the coaches. It was the people who opened the gym early in the morning and closed it late at night so they can get those extra shots up. It was the people who took care of them, whether it was nutrition or fitness. It was the fans. It was everybody collectively. But it was beyond the people. It was beyond those people right in front of us. And our strength and numbers are pretty similar. You see, the Golden State Warriors strategy trumped everything. They didn't just have great all-stars and great fans. They had a strategy to attack each team so that they can win a world championship. They had a strategy to score more points in the third quarter, to get more rebounds in the first quarter, have less turnovers than their opponents. Well, Kane is pretty similar. And let me tell you how I'm making this connection. You see, we have strength in numbers because we have all-stars right in this room. You, yes, that's, yeah, yep. Right here, yes, yes. And if you're live streaming, you too. We also have people supporting those all-stars in the work that we're doing. And they know their role and they do it really well. We have got strategy. We've got people who cook our food, who help us travel, who keep us safe. We have an all-star group right in front of us. But the truth is, we're never going to be a true world champion unless we start identifying the strategy to improve the student experience, the faculty experience, the staff, the community experience they have with Kane. So strength in our numbers was really purposeful. Yes, we jacked it from the NBA, but we're going to put it to life here today. When you get a chance to leave here today, this is the second order I have before we go, is to tell you about our gallery walk. Anybody here been to a gallery at Kane University? Not a data gallery, I hope so, right, Miss Kelly? You've been to the galleries, so you've walked around. You were curious, maybe inspired. You may have asked some questions. I know I certainly did when I went to the recent gallery. How did they make that? What did it take to do that? What inspired that? Well, I want you to take that same curiosity today in our data gallery walk. We have numbers that we want you to be inspired by, that we want you to be moved by, but we want you to be part of this movement to use those numbers to change the experience for everybody at the university. And we may not get a world championship trophy that we can put on a shelf, but we certainly will feel pretty good about it, and our students will, and our faculty will, and our entire Kane community will. So on behalf of the president and this great leadership team we have here, let's embrace our strength in numbers. And I have to use this one quote that you've said recently, and I love it. It's that, listen, if you want to climb faster, you might have to climb alone. But if you want to climb higher, let's climb together. So today, let's climb together, embrace our strength in numbers, and let's go Cougars, all right? Are we ready? Are we ready to get out there for a gallery walk? Now listen, lastly I've embraced my inner Sadie experience today, but I've got to embrace the student affairs component and enrollment service component too. So Neva, can you throw me a couple of those t-shirts? This is what student affairs and enrollment service does, right? We're like, if you don't have a t-shirt, raise your hand. I'll see if my arm works. Oh, there we go. That's one. There we go. That's two. It's amazing. You were all sleeping before I had t-shirts. That's wonderful. Okay, let's advance to our next slide. Have a great afternoon. And we were just the appetizer. Enjoy the entree out there.